Hi, I'm Alan R and welcome to MotorMatters, your channel that will bring you everything new and the latest, greatest and best in South African marketing. So the question is, have you subscribed? Hit that button now, come on. Then you can see every video as we post them live on the channel. Today we bring you the Volkswagen T-Cross. Their T range, which means it's all their SUVs in the range. They all have the T's, nicely lined up, I must say. Very organized in typical German fashion, isn't it? And the T-Cross, I call their small SUV because they've got the T-Rock, which is the crossover SUV. You have a look, it's got lots of typical SUV cues, like the skid plate at the front, the silver treatment over there, and of course the big prominent VW badge. Now, as is typical with German brands, as opposed to some other brands, you know who I'm talking about, you've got to look at specs on the car you want, and you've got to tick some boxes when you're ordering your car to get the spec you want, because not everything's standard. Just keep it in mind. So for example, on this one, the first item that I would insist on having on my car is the upgraded LED, what VW call the IQ lighting. Standard on this model is just xenon lights. Little thing, but better lighting, obviously important. Now, what I mean by this model, I haven't told you. Well, this is the Life model, as they call it. So it's pretty much the middle of the range. You get the R line at the top, which gives you little bits of body skirting and a little body kit, among other things, just to distinguish it from this one. Under the bonnet, barring the bottom model of the range, you get the VW's 1 litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine. In this, it puts out 85 kilowatts, 200 Newton meters of torque, and you've got a 7-speed DSG, dual clutch automatic transmission. So it's got a lot of features to it. You come around the side over here, you'll see 16-inch alloy wheels over there, and of course you've got, as you would expect, the black cladding around the wheel arch, down the bottom of the doors and roof racks. Again, typical cues of an SUV. This car has got, and as far as I can tell, not standard, is keyless entry and push button start. Again, features you want, you don't want, just keep in mind. Now let's take a look at the space. Isn't that important? So, of course, you've got to just use your locking and check what goes on and make sure all the doors are unlocked. But let's pop open the back door, have a look over here, and as I jump in, driver's seat is set for myself, as you would always expect me to do, and that's lots of legroom, isn't it? Must say I'm impressed by the legroom, and plenty of headroom as well. So the space in the back seat is very, very good. You take a look over here, you've got 2 USB-Cs down there for the back seat as well. So back seat passengers are catered for. Again, an important feature. Note that on this model, cloth upholstery is standard. I've got no complaints, no issues, and I've read that the most popular box that gets ticked on the VW range in full is panoramic sunroof. Well, this car doesn't have that. But again, choices you can make for yourself. Otherwise, very plain, very simple, and very classic. You can see typical C-pillar over there and a spoiler over the back, just over the rear hatch. Coming around the rear, of course, you notice immediately the light bar across the rear tailgate and the tail lights, which are LED as well, which do go into the tailgate as well. So you have that. And of course, you've got the skid plate down there, again showing you the SUV cues. Let's pop open the boot, which I'm sorry to tell you, you have to lift yourself. And the first thing that I notice, and I think this I always like, is the fact you've got a level floor. So no loading lip to heft things over. Let's lift up the board, and you've got a space saver spare wheel under there. I don't mind a space saver as long as you've got a spare wheel. I am happy. There's a bit of space over there as well. Between the spare wheel and the board, you could hide your laptop or something like that under there. Not a second board, but it doesn't matter. But I must say the boot is a teeny bit smaller than I would expect, but that is the trade-off for having more space in the rear seat. So it's time for the Allen test, and let's have a look. Oh, this is a bit of a tight fit. It's not quite a 1 Allen. I think I'm going to make this about a 0.8. How does that sound? I'm getting very pedantic on these lately, aren't I? So we'll call it a 0.8 of an Allen boot. But remember, you can fold the rear seats down, split 2/3, 1/3. So if you've got a problem and you need more luggage, you can do that. If you had to allow for that space under the board, it probably would just make a 1 Allen boot. I have left that there, but you can also see how steep the rear hatch is, so you're not going to gain much space, I can tell you, whether you have that shelf in or not. I've told you what's under the bonnet, that 85 kilowatts, 200 Newton meters. So let's jump in, see it on the road, and check it out inside. On the open road, and specifically on quite a steep uphill. Let me tell you, this 85 kilowatts and 200 Newton meters out of the little 1 liter 3-cylinder turbo gives you nice oomph. It's in 6th gear at the moment. I put my foot down, drops to 5th, and did you feel that? But what's also, I hope you felt or noticed, is exactly how smooth the 7-speed DSG gearbox is. It is amazing. It really is. I've got somebody in a hurry coming up behind me. Let's get out of his way quickly, because that's how you do it on the open road. If you've got good manners and the way to drive on open road, well, sorry, you didn't go past. Too late for you now. But the point of this car is the other standout, and I've got to say it's an absolute standout, is how incredibly smooth it is on the road. It really feels like a way, way bigger car when you think about it and when you feel it, as we've been cruising today out to Harties. And that has been a standout as far as I'm concerned, considering it is what I categorize as a small SUV. Boot maybe could be a bit bigger, we'll show it to you later on, but there's compromises because the interior space. So obviously they've chosen interior space over boot space. You have a look, you've got a nice big touch screen over there, you got instrumentation, which is simple, but it gives you the information you want, all your controls on the steering wheel. You've even got tiny little pedals behind the steering wheel for the gearbox. They're tiny ones, but you know what? If you're going to use those pedals, you're going to use them, and I don't think that makes any difference whatsoever. You've got push button start and keyless entry, which is, as far as I can work out, an option on the T-Cross. So just watch what boxes you tick when you order your car. It's as simple as that. It's not an issue. According to what I've read up, for example, you got your nice screen, but a reverse camera is also an option. So lots of options available, and just spec your car carefully. But I've got to tell you, it really is smooth and comfortable. It's actually surprised me very, very pleasantly at exactly how nice it is on an open road cruise. And that is, well, when that happens, I think that's a big plus point for any car, isn't it? Road holding is also nice. I mean, it's not a racing car of any sort, but it certainly sits smoothly and comfortably on the open road as well, through the twisties. Jumping in behind the wheel, you've got comprehensive instrumentation, what you would expect and what you can see, and it gives you the important information. The passenger door is open at the moment, but you can see it gives you your instant or your trip fuel consumption. Something rather strange is I haven't yet noticed how to get the consumption for the whole test. I've been looking and fiddling, but can't find it. But you can change the views, and you also can scroll through, and you've got plenty of different information you can get. I can't show it to you now because the door's still open. You've got your cruise control over here. Now remember, again, this car does have, I see, adaptive cruise control, but you'll have to just check against specs, as I said, what is standard and what isn't. And you do even get paddles for the DSG gearbox. Nice little chunky steering wheel as well, I have to tell you. Coming across to the infotainment screen, it's nice and clear, it's crisp. You can see it's linked to Android Auto. Nice, it's cable or wireless. I do like that. You go to the standard over there, you can see, you go to the menu over there, everything you want. Now, according to the research I did, and I use those words carefully, the reverse camera is not standard. Again, please check that out. These days, although this is not a big car and not an issue, you need to just check whether that is. And everybody's got so used to reverse cameras, you may or may not want one. So just think about that one quickly, but I would get it, that's for sure. Come further down, you can see you've got manual aircon. So what? I've got no issue with that. And your controls, nice and easy, simple, and they are all over there. Inductive charging pad over there. And there's I mentioned your push button start over there, because remember, this is a German built car, left-hand drive design. That's one thing they didn't swap. They could have swapped the lighter and that, but they didn't. Interesting, it's still got a cigarette lighter even. That's something I haven't seen in a while. But, it's also a 12-volt socket normally on most cars. The DSG, I know there's lots said about the DSG, but let me tell you, boy, is it smooth in operation. It really is nice and easy and smooth. I enjoy it tremendously. And a good old-fashioned manual handbrake. Now, just coming back over here, that button is one I always press straight away. That's to switch off the stop-start. All cars have it. It's up to you. I just find them nothing wrong with this one. I just find them irritating generally, so I don't like. You look at the dash, it's got interesting treatment across the center. It's not hard touch. It's not hard plastic, but it's not soft touch either. So somewhere in between. But what has stood out about this car from the minute I got into it is it feels solid. It feels well built. It feels well put together, and it feels classy. And that's something, again, you've got to measure when you get into a motor car. That feeling as you get into it and as you drive off for the very first time. Does it feel the part? Does it feel classy? Does it feel premium is another word you can use. And that's something it's either got or it hasn't. And you're going to measure. And that obviously comes into pricing as well. I talk about pricing. The T-Cross range starts at about the 400,000 Rand mark. The Life version, 471,000 Rand as standard. And I use that word carefully. So you've got to just look. You get a 3-year warranty. You get service plans. You get all these things. Again, you've got to compare. You've got to look. And just remember something. A lot of manufacturers, you can extend the service plans, etc., at very low costs. And you can do it when you buy your car. So keep that in mind. It's something I've been seeing more and more of lately, is how you can extend your plans and you can put it onto your finance when you buy the car, which is quite nice. But I must say, the first T-Cross that I've driven and tested, and this car has seriously impressed me. I'd like to end it on that. For MotorMatters, I'm Alan R. See you next time.